Mike Cahalan. On this Gene Shaheen call-in, are you planning to be listening to this about financial impacts potentially affecting municipalities?
No, I was going to wait for the review to come out and read the review.
You're going to wait for the review, okay. As long as one of us, somebody's paying attention to what options financially we may be able to benefit from.
So you're aware, I'll talk about that.
Does he sign or initial?
Why don't you wait for 2 weeks?
Signing that?
Yeah. That's doing, Chuck, is that's basically correcting. When we put it in, it was 30,000 for legal,
Yeah.
had to fix it to 40,000.
Okay.
So it was that $1,750
Library, yeah.
for the library, had to put that in.
Got it.
Those are the only changes.
Okay, good. You know, Brian, I'm gonna need a couple of copies for these, 32. Yeah, thank you, sir.
You want it on the stick, or you want it?
I'll take 2 copies in print to go to we have a single point of contact in Concord for OSI, Office of Strategic Initiatives, that I need to send one of the forms to, and then I have, another duplicate goes to the USDA. What's that? Yeah, that's the, fire department's new van. New old used van. It's an E350. That's the tip off there. Yeah, huh? signed my name so many times here, Brian, I'm waiting for you to slip in one of your lease payments or your purchase payment on your vehicle.
That's a big football.
Yeah.
Hold on to it for a second, so I can discuss it with you.
Okay.
You get that? I sent that last night after you left. Anna,
Oh, okay.
I sent it last night after you left. Yes, you got it on your email.
Oh, all right. Okay.
We talked about that last week. That was the original letter. I didn't have it with me last week.
What are your eyes? What's the date there?
Oh. I don't know, I blew it up on mine. It's actually too blurred right there.
I know.
But you can see it when you put it in
Okay.
the computer and blow it up. I mean, I did look at it. But
Okay, we all set?
fire at will.
All right. We'll get right down to the real meeting now that the reviews of the folders are over. This is Mike Cahalan, and we're going to move into the approval of the manifest. I'll make a motion to approve the manifest at $19,751.04. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ooh, and Tom was quicker there.
He was.
All in favor by roll call vote. Mike Cahalan, aye.
Chuck Fuller, aye.
Tom Hart, aye. Thank you. Next item would be in the signature folders. We have approval of the minutes, and I think I'm going to have some corrections. Others may as well. So we'll go into the approving, let's see, the April 7th work session. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I believe Mr. Hart wins.
Yeah, you got that again. I'm a little slow on the trigger today.
Roll call vote. Mike Cahalan, aye.
Tom Hart, aye. Chuck Fuller, aye.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to, we have a non-public on April 7th. I'll make a motion to approve the non-public of April 7th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Wow, that was a courtesy, huh, Tom?
Yeah, he threw the finger at me.
Feel bad.
I think that was an index finger, just for the record. Roll call vote. Mike Cahalan, aye. Tom Hart, aye.
Chuck Fuller, aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. April 7th, the regular session meeting minutes. Let's see. I guess I'm going to look down on the page 1, the USDA grant under Selectmen comments and reports. I'm going to under my name, and it says that the $25,000 grant for oil collection. That was a $2,500 grant. And I think that was the only actual correction I had. I did have a question under announcements, as it states, due to the current coronavirus crisis in accordance with the Earth Emergency Order 12. Do we know that that's the right emergency order? Not that anybody's probably looking, but okay.
Yeah, I had looked it up.
Oh, thank you. Okay, does anybody have anything on that?
All set.
Not that? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve with the one amendment, a motion to approve, so do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, all those in favor, Mike Cahalan, aye.
Tom Hart, aye. Joe Fuller, aye.
Okay, that's approved, thank you. So in the folders, we had,
Well, you have one more.
did work session and non-public and three things,
You have 2 work sessions.
did we? On the same day?
Yeah, just the, 10:30 a.m. for work sessions to discuss budget items.
Oh.
7.
Okay, as far as the, budget work session, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Tom Hart seconds. All in favor, roll call vote, aye. Mike Allen, aye.
Tom Hart, aye. Joe Fuller, aye.
Thank you. Now, into the signature folders, we had, yield tax levy, current use applications, we have received our final MS 232 from DRA, that's from the appropriations town meeting. The action folder, revised fiscal controls policy, which Mr. Burke will be discussing with us. A request for advice on taking of property by tax collector deeds. There's some notice out, and there's some mixed messaging between what the governor has put forward and the lack of details, so that's being debated across the state. Review mails, emergency order 26 and emergency order 27. Household waste, hazardous waste day is discussed by Dave Jeffers from that's NHMA. Oh, Lakes Region Planning. Right. Looks like that's scheduled to still go on. More details are coming.
July 25 and August 1st currently.
July 25th and August 1st, the Saturdays that are being purported to be the correct date. Senator Jean Shaheen is going to conduct a virtual meeting discussing potential fiscal, I don't know what you call that, but potential for funds for municipalities during the crisis. And I guess those are the items that were in the folder. So going from there, we'll go into Selectmen's comments, and I'll give that over to Tom Hart. Selectman Hart, do you have anything for us?
Not much, just, last week, we touched on the Clean Harbors. I told Chuck asked if I'd call them. I did, just send them some information to us, to the regional office, for the waste oil containment system. That's about it on that. When I get that, they'll give me a call and tell us what required in this area specifically for what I need to do. There was also some talk, one about measuring the wings of this oil basin that we have now for the waste oil.
Yeah.
So we need to go up and measure that before we order anything, before we get on this any further, I think.
Okay.
So I am gonna go there after the meeting if anybody wants to come along. And back on this bathroom faucet, I tried to return the broken one. I couldn't do it. They didn't have any in stock, and they wanted the card that it was put on, and I didn't have that. So I just brought it back, and I asked our fine administrator, Brian, to return it down there at his Home Depot, and he graciously accepted.
Nice. Try to get out of doing that, Ryan.
That's about it. I can think of right now.
So you replaced a number of faucets in...
Just 2 of them. I still got the ladies' room to do. I got one here. I need one more.
Okay. And
I haven't heard back on the petition yet. It's straight. I just measured that last week up. I put my request in for full back.
and by petition, you're talking about doing the
just to separate the toilet so whoever's using it can have a little privacy.
but that'll be like making it so disabled.
Yeah, wheelchair
compliant.
to do it and be able to swing around in there too.
Yep.
So that's why we have to come out. The other one, you can see the markings on the wall that are in about almost a foot more. We're gonna bring it out a foot more, run it straight across.
That's in this bathroom?
Men's room.
Men's room, it's not ADA compliant, so Tom's working on that. Great. Fuller, I'm sure you have a number of items.
Only a few.
Let's try to remember to speak up for the, folks.
Good morning, this is Chuck. So I did a follow-up with the, asbestos folks for the report. They're coming out late this week or early next week for that, Old Town Road property that we had started last fall, but snow prevented us from finishing. I did talk to Sean at UPS and basically said, leave anything off at Tom Hart's house.
Yeah, he's supposed
The town office is closed, so we got that one covered. I made an offer to the school system because there's an issue with some of the stuff that's coming to them. If they want to drop it off at my house, they can do that. I've traded emails with Patty and whatever, so if they want it, they'll let me know. Following up on my side of the waste oil piece, I did contact, AJ Foss down in Farmington. Basically, they would recommend using for 2 storage units, using half of a 2,000-gallon tank, concrete tank. But as you said, we need to make sure we look at the opening dimensions of whatever's required for that particular unit. It is basically rebar, reinforced fiber, 5,000 PSI concrete, so it's a pretty good, tank, and it's about $940 delivered on site. So we've got that. Questions came up, last week regarding, some emails. Brian, did you get your new email?
That's it.
Okay. So, I basically started to pull together some email policy guidelines to be added to the draft technology policy that I have. I circulated some information. I'll put it into the document and we'll follow up. Teresa's not feeling well at this point in time, so I'm not sure having her go and try and play with the website's the right thing to do at this point. So we'll follow up when she's better. The documents I alluded to last week, and I emailed to each of the selectmen regarding the guidelines for the LCHIP grant. I basically want to talk about that and sign that particular document next week if we can, so I can get that part of my checklist taken care of. And it's about a 50-page document, a happy reading. I reached out to Christopher P. Williams Architects to get an updated proposal. One of the things that's come out as a result of dealing with the program up there is that we basically should have an architected plan for the first floor layout, including the ADA bathroom, the stairs, the elevator, whatever the layout is for the library. And so I've got an updated proposal coming from those folks on that. Hopefully I'll have that for next week. Teresa did send out a note in the last couple of days based on some comments regarding how different boards in town can have their meetings and access whatever. And she recommended we might want to put something together to kind of just distribute to everybody for information. So I thought I would pull something together today, and I'll share it with Brian to share with you guys. Basically that, because Aaron Jones asked me, what the number was that he could use for the Conservation Historic District Commission. And I basically told him that, at this point, people are getting their own free number, but I really think we ought to have kind of a, here's what we're gonna recommend to use, here's the things you need to consider, like whether you're gonna record it, how you're gonna keep it, if you're gonna use this system, you gotta have a little bit more in place than just saying, hey, here's the telephone number.
You gotta manage it.
We gotta have something behind it to basically say, how is it going to work? So, I'll pull that together in the next day and distribute that over.
I would suggest that you include Gwen on that because she's most familiar with that system. I'd also suggest that we look at the possibility of having 2 or 3 different numbers.
I would agree. Yeah, I'm gonna suggest everybody get their own number. I know Teresa's got her own number for the planning board at CIP. We've got the one here for the selectmen, and we'll just give information to anybody else that wants to use it at their boards. Contact Gwen for contact information for the outfit. That's all I have.
Oh, can I touch back on something?
Sure, Mr. Hart.
Tom Hart. I rode the roads last weekend during the rainstorm. They were a mess, dirt roads. We're gonna be be getting a grader on them this week? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I was going to touch base
Oh, okay.
on that, but thanks for bringing that up. I'll clear that up right now, because I'm sure people are concerned. We did talk with Ron Evans last week. There was gonna be an effort on a couple things. First, to take down the weight limit signs. They're overdue to come down, but because of weather and staffing and things, Ron's crew didn't get out there just yet. The police department, everybody knows that the weight limits, we've taken those down officially. You're still seeing the signs out. They'll be collected. And the roads will be graded. The cycle will be starting hopefully today. It's already started, my hopes are. So there's a few washout areas, a couple of culvert areas to be dealt with as well. And road work will be starting in Clough, Granite, Nutter. Those roads down on that section of town will be getting the first attention. There's some culverts, I think, that are going to be either repaired or replaced out there as well. And after that, Snow Road has some issues from some soft areas and some drainage issues. A few areas that weren't completely finished last year, so work will shift over to that direction. And should I forget about this, last year I conveyed to Mr. Evans, and they never got to it, that there's a catch basin at the bottom of Culford Hill.
Yeah.
And it's just packed. I mean, we vacuumed it out, but the tube, the type that runs out to the drainage ditch is full or blocked.
Oh,
So
okay.
Ron is supposed to get back over there to see if they can take care of that. So if I forget about that, hopefully somebody else will remember to stay on top of that. So the roads are going to be an issue coming up.
We got a call yesterday about a plug culvert and an overflow. We notified Evans. What was the road?
On Clough Road by Molly's over, and I called Evans and he went out to take care of it.
Okay.
Apparently the beavers had plugged the culvert and it was flowing across the top of the road.
Oh, okay. And that was Brian Burke. We're gonna try and get you to announce yourself, Mr. Administrator. That's because folks will be confused. Yeah, and that is the area he's going to be headed to first. Mr. Fuller, sir.
I'll get a hold of the beaver guy. I'll take a ride out after the meeting to make sure I can tell him specifically where it is, and we'll get him out there to
Okay.
get rid of that rascal.
I imagine, I've been watching a lot of the water flow, and it was running pretty good, so I'm just kind of waiting for that blockage to, show up. So, yeah, I imagine it's that season, time of the, yeah. Anyway, going to touch back onto something that was in the folders that I forgot to mention. I think it's of interest. The Freedom Food Pantry in the month of March distributed 153 meals at a cost of $1.75 per meal to Effingham residents, which is amazing that they can do it for the price, but it also underscores that they're still functioning over there. They're coming up and delivering to the cars. So in case people have that need and aren't aware, that they're operating. So. Is it a call ahead, Chuck?
Yeah, because you gotta figure out how to get, I wouldn't say call over there to make sure that they know you're coming, because it's to come out to the car and give you your food.
Do we have a contact number for that?
Do not.
Do you know anything about that, Chris?
I didn't hear that, I just heard it with the drive up and they come to your car.
That's all I knew of. If we have a contact number, if we follow up with
I
them.
think it would be worth giving a contact number anyway, just so people, if they need to know more information, they can call over.
Well, I think we should probably check with Freedom Food Pantry first and see how they're operating and if that works for them. If it does, we can post their number on the website, because we do have all the nonprofits that we contribute to on the website, and we could just add the contact number there if it isn't, right? Because that's on there, isn't it, Chuck?
Supposed to be. I need to check it.
Okay. I saw the eyes go up.
Yeah, I need to, that was one of those I did not verify.
Behind the mask, I saw the eyes. Okay. All right then. Let's see. Got a couple things here. Just wanted to follow up, Mr. Burke. Do we ever decide to go with the postage machine, or is that still in
limbo.
Still in limbo.
And to give you an idea, Deanna and I have talked about it, and we're going to do a reassessment of the savings, because we're now having number of pieces of mail that we send out.
Oh,
So we're going to reevaluate whether that's cost effective,
okay.
given the fact that we're using Minuteman for the tax bill.
Well, I was just figuring here with the virus, let's hope this isn't the new normal forever, that I thought that would probably been a benefit to you folks now, but.
It might be, but we haven't got a chance to work through the numbers. Gwen did a kind of down and dirty and still thinks it saves us about $500 a year, but we wanna do something to make sure that that's
Accurate.
accurate.
What about, the convenience factor? Even
Well,
if,
the convenience factor is huge.
yeah. Well,
The Deanna still has to send out notices for, your registration being due and the listing of that. We still send out probably 35 or 40 checks out of our office every week. That's increased because now we're mailing a lot of the employees' checks. So the convenience is huge.
all right, well, again, just not the other board members, just my thoughts. Even if we incurred a little bit of an expense, it might be worth it with all the travel time back and forth to the, post office or getting whatever we're dealing with, if we have to have things weighed to get postage on them, just to be able to do everything in-house so that you guys don't have to, be pestered with that.
Okay,
It's probably,
we'll work that up a little better in the next 2 years.
okay, it fell off my radar, and just came to me looking through the folders. Audio visual purchase, the update on that, have you had any opportunity, Brian, to further?
Well, I have kind of put it on a little bit of a back burner because this seems to be working. And it's on the audio visual, the best we're going to get on a free fund from the federal government is 75. We'll still have to pay 25%. So where this was working, I didn't go much any further on it.
Okay.
You want me to do it? We'll go
Well,
with it.
I'm thinking, just me personally, that it might be nice because I know a lot of people, it's just a YouTube, upload if we go, that's what the other fellow was doing. So, I know a lot of folks really like that, and it's a way we can message to the people and let folks know what we're doing, and it just it's a better way to reach people, I think, but others might have some thoughts.
I don't think we can live stream.
No.
Because we don't have the bandwidth to do that with Spectrum. But as far as putting it up on YouTube, that's a strong possibility.
Any, Chuck?
I'd be willing to take a look at it.
Okay.
I mean, even if it's only a 75% reimbursement, that's 75% that we don't have to deal with.
Right.
And it would be able to provide a better service to the citizens of the town.
Yeah, I should with Chuck on this.
You're in agreement, Tom? Yeah.
Say something?
Follow along with Chuck here on this. I think we need to look into it.
I think, we'll see what the money shakes out to be, but I think it would be a great tool to communicate with the public. We had this service coming in for free for a while, and I get a lot of feedback from that, and messaging seems to be a problem. So I think that would really help personally. Well, we'll get the numbers, right? Chief Burbank.
FYI, Governor Sununu has sent a letter to FEMA requesting full 100% reimbursement for this norovirus. No guarantee you're gonna get it, so my family's still playing on 75% to get 100 bonus.
Yeah, and again, like Chuck pointed out, 75% is probably the best option we're gonna get if we wanna move into this area, and it's probably a good time to do it. All right, then, Brian, I have, here, was sent to my mailbox, the Northeast Resource Recovery Association, and it looks like this is to be a full voting member, and I'm not sure if this is just our membership involved for an annual billing, $103.11. So I don't know that we participate in that, or we have a regular membership, and this is something just additional to be a voting member. But I will, sir, leave that with you to investigate if you wouldn't mind.
So we don't know whether we're a current member?
Well, we're a member, but I don't know if we're a voting member.
A voting member, okay.
And, you know, I don't know that we need to be a voting member if that's an additional $103. But, till that question's answered, it's kind of
Got it.
moot. Just because I had I was brought in on a complaint the office received, and I heard from somebody in town about water deliveries. It was an overweight load on 153, apparently stopped by a state trooper, and I do know it's a state trooper now because I reached out to Troop E and spoke with the commander of Troop E. He got to the bottom of it. It wasn't somebody from his troop, but I did have a discussion about water deliveries being more of a critical item. So there's some discussion taking place there, as well as I left an email and a voice message for the governor to consider maybe looking at legislation to be a little clearer as far as water deliveries. We're in an area where people have wells and not city water or pumped in, so it seemed like a no-brainer to me that that's a commodity that probably rates up higher than maple syrup and milk, which is listed in the RSA, but we'll see. Another item that came about was, I guess we got it late for our last week's meeting and it didn't get attended to, was there was a request to attend and film the meetings from Ed Como of the Government Oversight. One of the concerns here was the integrity of the building, keeping a minimal amount of people into the building for sanitary reasons, as well as the comfort level of the staff. Everybody's got to feel safe in the workplace, and just having a lot of additional foot traffic is problematic. So we did a little bit of a poll from those individuals we could get to last week, and my feeling was if we had one employee who was uncomfortable, that was enough for me to say that we don't need the service at that time, and we had people that were concerned. So I would be inclined to decline the request at this time to have Mr. Como attend. I appreciate the service he provides, but this is probably not the time. Anybody want to weigh in from the board?
I'm good with your explanation.
Okay.
Support it.
Yeah, I support it too. I don't believe, I mean, we're not even allowing taxpayers in this building to let them in. We really gotta keep an eye on this. There's just one extra body, nothing against Ed and government oversight, a great, deal, but at this point, I'm not for it at all.
Okay. Well, Mr. Burke.
I did a little checking, and one of the things that Mr. Como put in his email request to do it is he would live stream it so that we would meet the requirements of the executive orders. Problem is, he probably can't live stream it because we don't have the bandwidth in order to do that.
Well, and we are meeting the executive order through the process we have here with to be able to dial in. It's not perfect, and we are looking to improve the situation. But yeah, I just, again, for all the reasons I stated, I think we're going to have to graciously decline Ed's offer. And just as a side note on that, earlier today we had one of our fire captains come to the door who wanted to discuss with the board the Old Pound Road property and a potential fire burn and stuff. And I turned him away because we didn't have him scheduled to come in, and it wasn't a priority item, in my opinion, to allow him into this meeting, and he didn't contact us ahead of time. So chain of command, I'm going to look for him to be going through the fire chief, who we allow the two police officers and the fire chief in, and that's pretty much the family that's in the room, So yeah, it's not to Ed, it's to everyone. And like I said, we just sent away a fire captain from our own town. Let's see, zoning enforcement, schedule of updates with Rebecca. I know there were some issues, Chuck, you had brought up. We wanted to touch base on some items that seem to have been lingering on that list for some time. And I believe, Tom, you had encountered a second driveway cut, or reported to you or whatnot. You had something.
Yeah.
So I think at some point we should schedule a call, maybe in a work session, one of our work sessions with Rebecca, and try to find out where we are since she's working remotely.
That's good.
Okay, I'll just add that to
a
the
work
list.
session.
Yep, all right, great. And on that note, yeah, that was, okay, that's all on hers, all right. Another item I had been looking into earlier this year was town-owned properties. We have a number of those that could be disposed of through auction, and there's a number of properties that are listed as owner unknown. I had touched base with our town's attorney a while back on that, and there's a process for posting and advertising those properties so that these things could go back 100 years. I don't know. It's just kind of wherever the trail leads. So Matt, our attorney, said there's a way you just post these things, you advertise them, you make best efforts, and then after a certain time frame, the town can adopt these as their own properties and then liquidate them. So quite a number of these properties are landlocked and are just ripe for conservation. Deanna, I see you anything? No? Okay. So I think I've done some preliminary work on that, and then we're following up with Deanna and Gwen and our attorney. We'll probably get those squared away and hopefully get those on the auction block or to the conservation folks end of the summer, whatever the process allows for. How do you guys feel about that?
They say how long it had to be posted for, or?
It's
It's a process.
yeah, it's not a long posting. It's probably 30 days or less, and then it's claiming the deed. So a little, process at the registry, and then after that, I think we can liquidate them. Gwen, did you have?
I believe you have to post them prior to your warrants, and I think you have to go through it for 3 years, so you can actually legitimately be found. Am I wrong on that?
I would have to ask that question of our attorney because that's not what he.
Because I have it in writing. We've already done.
Okay.
We did it once before on a property, and I have the information.
Well, if you can dig that opinion out, and we'll look at it.
Pretty sure it requires 3 years until you, they're delinquent for 3 years, and then legitimately you can then deed it to the town.
Oh, okay, but I think most of these have been delinquent for some time, but we'll have to check.
No, because they've been listed owner unknown and exempt because there's no one to bill. I mean, we'd be sending a bill to ourselves. You have to post a notice in maybe a couple publications. I have it, Matt sent me way back when, because we had one property we needed to address. And he sent me the information way back when. But in the meantime, we were trying to research who these properties may belong to. Was it easy enough to figure that out? But of course, that's time consuming.
Right.
But yes, I have information that we got from that on how to move forward on that process. So if that's something you guys want to do.
Yeah, we'd definitely like to see what was, what was uncovered before, and the discussions with the attorney seemed to, I got the impression that there's a way forward on this, but we definitely would like to see what has been given to you in the past. And then we'll revisit this, and hopefully we can get rid of some of this. All right. Then, let's see, there's a capital improvement meeting on Thursday at 6 o'clock. I don't know how that's going to be conducted at this point. It might be a call-in. Nobody's being, nobody has to attend, and that's going to precede a planning board meeting, work session. But if there's any kind of level of participation that you gentlemen on the board would like to be involved in, I know Chuck is already. Tom, you might want to consider getting involved in the capital improvement planning, that program, because it really involves a lot of the selectmen. So I just wanted to put that on your radar, and we'll get an update on call-ins and how that's going.
I believe there's gonna be a dial-in number for that meeting.
Yeah. So we'll get more from Grace Fuller, who's the chair on that, and whatever she's got, that'll be the lead into the planning board as well.
What's the date?
That is this Thursday, 16th, so. Let's see, I did have an agreement here for crack sealing that we may want to sign with, RCH so that they can come in and, crack seal a couple of roads. We can have that discussion in the work session, just where we need to be, what roads. But this was sent previously to us. I just forgot about it, and so, we can do a little quick work session after the meeting and decide if you want to go with this or answer any questions on that agreement. Another item to be considered is the street sweeper. In the past, when we've had a lot of dirt in the parking lots and on the bridges, we brought in a street sweeper from like Coleman's and addressed the parking lot. We might want to see if our bridges and parking lots are to that level this year or not. Do we need to do that? So that's something to consider. Just get back to it. We've got some time, so get back with your views on that, please. And I'm going to reach out to the fellow that's doing our grounds for cleanup on the cemetery, Woodland Cemetery, this facility. If there are other facilities that should be addressed, add those to a list. And also, we're going to need the report for the landfill because it had a few things in there that needed to be addressed, some vegetation and some bare spots on the cap, maybe some planting on the cap, some seeding. Want to be able to pass those off to Mr. Nason. So, again, that's on the to-do list. And speaking of lists, now that Christine is back with us, municipal contact list, certainly we wanted to have that before for all the people we can reach out to, employees, board members, committees, commissions, trustees, what have you. And in this day and age with the pandemic, it seems like a great way to be able to uniformly connect with all the folks that are helping keep the wheels on the town of Effingham. So definitely like to see some headway on that. And got an update from the Effingham Elementary School. They're looking to do a roadside cleanup on April 22nd. They've provided a route, that there's their parade route, and that is available. I got that on an email, so I can send it around if you haven't seen it. Essentially, they're looking to go out and do cleanups on the state roads and the town roads that they encompass in their parade route, and they're going to be provided bags and whatnot, I believe, from Emily and Albert and the Conservation Commission. And I volunteered my services anyway to go out and collect the bags. They're going to leave the bags in place, same as what we're looking to do with other folks in town. So no different. I believe they are looking for not just their staff to participate, but parents. They'd probably take any help. I don't know, but Patty Morrissey would be the contact person at the Effingham Elementary School. I can only assume that she is. And more details could probably be found from Emily and Albert at the Conservation Commission, Effingham Conservation Commission, if you can't get in touch with anyone at the school. I'm thinking that on our website we could probably remove that tax breakdown from the past. We probably have a few things on the website that we might want to taking out because it's been reported that it's getting a little busy on the website. So I'll take any input from you fellas that what you think should or shouldn't be addressed, but it's just not immediate action, just something to consider. At some point you lose people if there's just too much content, I think. And the town Facebook page, I don't know that we were able to manage that in a way to block people, Gwen. The town Facebook page, did we ever decide, have we determined that we can block people from posting things on it?
How do you mean?
Blanket, like no postings, just us.
Oh, it's not possible on a page. You can do it on your own personal Facebook, you know, but once you create a page, there's no way to restrict commenting.
Okay. I'm probably in favor of not having a Facebook page, if that's the case, but quite frankly, I'm willing to go along with if we don't have a problem, we don't have to fix anything, but if it becomes a problem, I guess I'm gonna be coming down on the side of not having that page.
Chuck Fuller, can we remove comments that get posted?
I can delete them, yes, and I can ban people if they continually, you know, disrespect the fact that it's simply an informational page. It's not intended for public comment, it isn't monitored for that purpose. I have put a notice up telling people that it's simply informational purposes, and I've asked them to refrain from commenting. I had one individual who decided they needed to continue to comment, and I do have the ability to ban them. So I opted to ban the person. I don't mind managing the Facebook page, but I really don't need to go on to work on it and see all this negativity. I mean, life's bad enough, at times. So I just opted to ban the person since they decided to choose comment. I really don't need that.
Well, one of my ongoing concern is if we're not diligent in monitoring it, then people can put things on.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Deanna, I didn't.
Okay, speaking to you, diligent monitoring, who's gonna be saying by their phone, monitoring Facebook for
Right.
comments?
Right. So there again, provided the community behaves in the appropriate manner, then that's one thing. And if we have some, you know, further issues, maybe we'll revisit it.
Oh, and I did state on there as well, if they have questions or something they need to share, to call the Selectmen's office directly, and I left the phone number. You know, call them.
Okay. And again, anybody wants to weigh in at any point in time on any of these issues on this list, feel free to do so, bring it up again, what have you. Going forward, one of the things I'm hoping that we can work with the police department on is a cohesive weight limit policy for next year and enforcement. We really kind of are leaning to letting people be active in the mornings to get done what they need to do, moving equipment, getting in and out of town. But I don't believe we've ever had a clear message and one that I think it's reached people. So that would be a potential goal for next year, so that we have some hard and fast rules, that we have some outreach to the trucking operators. Just because I don't think anybody's really telling us what they're doing, and equipment shows up, logging equipment is an example, it's not the only offender. So just to make some better communications there would be kind of nice, because there are complaints occasionally when people around the town see certain activities, and it always seems like we're playing catch up, and I'd just like to get ahead of it for once if we could. Other than that, Chief Burbank is in the room, so fire safety inspection ordinance is still on our list of things to try and research, as well as a health ordinance. That's another thing. I don't know if we actually do even have an old health ordinance. Thought we did, but I haven't seen it forever. If anybody comes across it, we'll take that as the base and go from there. And then that leaves us with a work session, and I'd like to schedule the work session for April 21st, if the other members can confirm that date, just to follow up on some of the things that we have already started on, one of which is the false alarm ordinance. Come prepared with some information on that, and hopefully we can get a pretty good outline on that day. And I know personnel policy is another item we'd like to do some more work on. I know Chuck has been chipping away at that, has some material for us, so perhaps that could be the second item on that day. And another thing for us would be land use points. we have a business in town that we need to probably put, well, I know we need to put bullet points together for our attorney to have him focus on, and perhaps a remedy, because it seems like there are a lot of things happening in one facility that just weren't supposed to happen, and we need to find out what our options are, because there's a drain on our resources, and it's a financial impact as well. So those would be the subject matter for April 21st. And if there's anything you fellas would like to add or inputs.
I'll send it on.
Okay, all right. I did also reach out to the USDA bankruptcy division on a property that was processing through the courts last Friday. That motion was withdrawn, where we anticipate a check coming. I did speak to Lawrence Sumsky, who's the trustee for bankruptcy in the state, and we'll know more when that gets here. But I did contact the USDA because it's another property, and there's a whole bunch of things in the deed that are restrictions that aren't being adhered to from the folks on this property. And I turned that over to the folks at USDA. They're going to kick it up the ladder and potentially speak with their attorney to see if any action can be rendered. The gal was very sympathetic to the situation here that we've been experiencing for quite a few years. So we'll see. Other than that, I was going to ask Administrator Burke, do you know what the amount of our next payment to the school is here? I mean, I've got a breakdown here, but it seems to start in July. So I didn't know if we had any more payments before the end. Okay, then that's just one of those budgeting things. If you get back to us on that later, that's fine. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it, outside of wanting to go over some budget items at the end of this meeting. We'll go into a bit of a work session if we can, because I know you have some updates as well, Brian.
I want to talk about that revised policy.
Okay, the revised policy, absolutely.
We adopted a policy right after I first got here, dealing with how we financially handle money. And that policy was put in effect. Then we changed banks, and we changed the process that we use for depositing money to an electronic process. The old policy is quite cumbersome, both for me and for the tax collector. The old policy had all monies going to the tax collector from even departments within the answer to the selectmen's office. Because of that, it's hard to track the breakdown and how to put that money into different items. So basically, the revision of the policy only changes the practice of monies that come into the selectmen's office. And the office assistant is going to receive those monies, do the same tracking, but then once she gets it and we can break it down, then take the money to the tax collector with automatic deposit.
Okay.
That's the only change. Well, that changed then how we look at if the office assistant finds a discrepancy. We then had to change, because if Deanna found it, if the tax collector found a discrepancy, then it had to be dealt back to the administrator's office. But if the office assistant finds a discrepancy, we don't want the administrator who she answers to being the person on the first line of the investigation. That's not good fiscal policy. So what would happen then is Glenn would look at it to make a determination if it needed to be elevated. That's the other change. I only changed it because Deanna no longer is the first person receiving.
Okay.
Those are the only changes. And I've talked to Deanna, and I've both gone over it. She's absolutely in favor of this change.
I had a feeling.
Okay, do you, perhaps, do we wanna take a minute after the meeting in the work session to review this, or you guys already?
I read it.
You read it already? I didn't go through it in depth, so, okay, well, if everybody's in favor of it, we can make a motion to sign this, and I do make a motion to sign this policy. All others, in second and in favor?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Chuck Fuller, aye.
All right, roll call vote, Mike Cahill, aye. All right, so we'll pass that around and have that signed. Sir. So another item for me is, the ongoing concern down on Granite Road, where the access is, and I think that's Rumney Hill Road, it's the part that might be blocked off, or theoretically. I'd like to revisit that, and, I guess my question would be, what's the best way to determine, where that Class 6 road meets Granite Road? So, we don't have to solve that now, but that's my question to the board. How would you like to resolve that? Because that seems to be an issue. So I gotten plenty of reports over the years that that's a problem. Do I have something else? Chief, Deanna?
No, do you mind if I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Is that where there's a trailer park on the road? Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, that is the question. Is the trailer in the road? Where is the road? You know, that trailer seems to me, even if it is not in the road, it seems extremely close to wherever a setback would be. So I don't understand how that trailer exists. And can be a follow-up once again with Rebecca, the zoning officer. But I would like to know where the road is, because I think that solves a lot of the mystery. If we can actually go out there, then maybe we need a police presence, I don't know, but we need to determine where the road is to answer this question. So, it's something else, food for thought. Like to see if we can't resolve that one this year. We covered the oil grants. I think that's pretty much everything that I had to discuss today, in this session. So, do we have any other new business or anything else?
I'd like to do the old business that's on the schedule.
We have old business, and if I could, in the massive paperwork, I've misplaced my agenda, so there it is. Old business, yes, cleaning person. Is that the one you're referring to, sir?
That is correct.
All right. Do we have a candidate?
We do.
Nice. Well, enlighten us, Mr. Fuller.
And she came in Thursday, last week. Brian and I walked through the building. Basically, we'll take it on, and it's $25 an hour.
Okay.
Need to do background checks. Brian just got the information and do that this morning.
All right. How does everybody feel about this? Any input? Anyone?
I think it's Brian Burke. I think it's pretty much something we need to do. I'm just trying to decide if we're going to make this person an employee, or is this person going to be a contractor? Because that definitely decides how we input the person into the system.
I thought we covered this and contractor was favored, but did you get any input from this individual on it?
Either way, whatever our
Either way.
preference is.
Okay.
If I might say something about it, when I first started cleaning.
Who are you, ma'am?
What? Gina Lola Bridget.
15 Holbrook, thank you.
Okay, when I first started cleaning many years ago, I was an independent contractor. Then Claudia, who was the town administrator, said, it would be better to come under the umbrella of the town due to liabilities, and
insurance purposes, all that. That's how that all came about. So the person cleaning the building would be protected under the town if something happened. That was the reason.
That is, Brian Burke, that's correct.
Okay.
And I foresee a problem if we do a contractor, that we then need the contractor to show liability insurance,
Yeah.
so that we're not in the barrel if something happens. And this is not, we've been through this with Primex several times, as you remember. And the firefighters who are contractors are a special entity, as Primex has indicated, but other contractors are not. So I guess I'm kind of in favor of the employee versus the contractor because of that. And then we're covered under the Primex insurance also.
Okay.
But that also means that the person is going to get $25 an hour minus Social Security withholding and Medicare.
Well, I guess then, as long as that person accepts those terms, for all the reasons stated, then we're in business. So I guess, follow up. See.
She was, at least my understanding, she was agreeable to either way.
Okay.
She was not going to be disagreeable either way it went. I just think for the town's protection,
Right.
we're better off to do an employee because then our insurance definitely covers it. Whereas if we do a contractor and she's uninsured, then what fallback is there going to be on the town if there's an injury on the job?
Okay. No, that's fine with me. I just, as long as this individual has a total understanding of how all the money and the nuances of this arrangement works. And, Chuck is shaking his head yes, so I guess he's point on this.
Well, it also makes a difference on what federal forms need to be filed for the employment. That's why I want a decision made, so I know which way to go on the federal forms.
Okay. All right, done deal then.
It's an employee.
Sure, yep. Thank you. So, new business, we have the transfer station requested for certain supplies, which has been addressed. We've taken care of that to the best we can. Some things are probably on order because that's the nature of things.
The gloves, yep. I talked to the guys last weekend and they're on order.
Okay. Transfer station stickers are still going to be required. We had a big dust up on that last year, and we're not going to give any ground. The arrangements have been, are in place with the town office, with Deanna's, town clerk tax collector, and the selectmen's office to provide these. You have a system in place, people can call in. Would somebody want to describe just how this is working? Deanna?
I'm not gonna describe how it's working, but I'm going to tell you it's
The process.
strictly because of the way we're operating, because of the COVID, it's strictly in the Board of Selectmen's office, not my office.
Oh, okay. All right. So then, what's our process for doing this? So people know, how do they get their sticker, Brian?
Well, I'm probably going to be unpopular with you for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
The state of New Hampshire has extended all registrations to try to prevent people from having contact. What you're saying by not doing the same thing for dump stickers, extending it for like maybe a month or two, is that we're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,800 people looking to come to this office and get a dump sticker renewal in the next month period of time. That means if we follow the present way we give it, we're going to have to stick 1,800 envelopes to the outside of the door, for people coming down. They're going to have to drop their dollar into the box, and we're going to have to hope that everybody that gets a sticker does do that. I think that that's a nightmare, to be honest with you, because we had an awful lot of people back before they issued them at the dump come here and get stickers at the window. I just think you're looking at a nightmare not extending the present stickers for maybe a month or two, the same as the state has done with automobile registrations and all of the work that state has done to try to prevent the contact. I think this is
Okay, so the fear here is to be flooded with that, just too many requests to put those out on them.
We got, you issue roughly 1,800 stickers a year, and they're all doing the same month. And so you're gonna have 1,800 sticker people wanting to get a sticker.
I think we ought to follow the state.
Could I add something to this? In the past, yes, there were lines at the window to get a transfer station sticker, and we handled it, we did it. But right now, due to the process, this can easily be done by mail with self-addressed stamped envelopes. You send us a copy of your registration and $1 cash or a check, and we'll send it back to you, the sticker. But we need a copy of your registration. A lot of this can be done by mail very easily.
That's gonna work. A lot of the people that get thumb stickers don't have that ability, that's why they come to the window.
Well, most of the can do it.
I would still issue them if people do follow the policy or contact you to do it. Maybe we will just not be absolutely rigid about having a transfer station sticker so that you won't be inundated, and then move it out, but we're gonna need to, at some point, you're gonna need to issue them.
I think what my proposal is those people that legitimately have them right now, you just extend the period of time those stickers are good.
Right.
There may be a dozen people that are gonna be new people that need a sticker, they can do the mail-in process. But I think having 1,800 stickers due in the same month and have none of them issued at the transfer station, which I agree with, is gonna be a disaster here at the door.
Well, I think if people wanna follow the process that Chris put forward, mail in or, Dropbox a copy, and, I think if we could accommodate that, that would be good.
Spend the deadline.
We can extend the deadline, but if people are processing them, allow them to get the transfer
Right, yeah.
station.
Keep doing what you're doing, but
Right,
if you don't get to do it,
right,
you don't want to extend it out a couple months.
right, extend it to a month or something. We'll see how that unfolds. We don't know when normal is normal again.
Review it every 30 days.
Yeah, this is Chuck. I'd rather us basically say we're gonna extend it till the end of June, from July 1st. If for some reason this whole health thing is extending, and the governor is extending some of his executive orders additionally, we can always revisit and extend it again
Right,
the following month.
Yeah.
Voluntary, if anybody wants to do it, voluntary, get it
Right.
done, get it out of the way, mail your information into the office.
that's what I'm saying. If people can comply with that and, we're not overwhelmed, then let's try and, that way we won't be hit all at once anyway. So if there's a mechanism, which seems like there is, where some people can take advantage of it, let's do it if we can. If that proves problematic, then, we'll deal with it or not deal with it if that's the case. And, we'll move out like everybody's saying, we'll extend the, privileges to those who are holding a current, permit. So that'll take care of that.
Extend to the end of June.
Yeah, we'll go to the end of June for now and maybe revisit. Ian, sir?
Are your dump stickers specific to a specific vehicle or just the resident?
Specific vehicle.
We do have the means of verifying electronically that, like if they send us the plate number, we have the means of verifying electronically that they're currently registered in town, correct?
It's not clerk, that's private information.
No, you'd be able to verify that it's registered in this town, correct?
Okay, well, we've got a system in place to take some registrations, in and issue some permits, and maybe that'll help the flood at the other end. And we'll just see how it goes. If it works, great. If it becomes a problem, Brian, just,
The old system did not record here the registration number of the vehicle to stick a window. of a vehicle in Effingham, and then a sticker was issued.
Well, I was just wondering, if like people like through the mail, if they send in like the plate number that they're attaching that sticker to, that we could verify that for our in-house records. That,
They sent copies, oh, I see.
yeah, like if they don't have the means to make a copy of the registration, that we could say, we could look that plate and say, yes, that is a registered resident of Effingham. If that would make it easier for people who do not have the ability to photocopy and print.
I think,
The complexity with that is that then means the town, we don't have the ability to look that up.
Right.
Only the town clerk does. The town clerk has that ability through the state system. And I think that's a,
slippery slope.
just
Yeah.
looking for,
Yeah. No, appreciate the thought. So we'll stay with an actual copy of, a registration, and with that being provided, we can follow the process of getting a transfer station sticker out. And as Brian is pointing out, this year, where those stickers are numbered, so they're going to have the plate number, I believe, it's the plate number that goes on the sticker, and it's numbered, so whoever it has been issued to is recorded. So the idea you take your sticker and give it to somebody else, that's probably not gonna work out well for you, should anything come up. So that's our system. We'll see how it goes. If we hit some bumps in the road, we'll reevaluate it, and we'll see what things are like in another month or so. Gwen?
So just to be clear on this, you are extending the current transfer station stickers to July 1.
Essentially, yeah.
And, but if people choose to, obtain a new sticker, they can send in a copy of the registration, a self-addressed stamped envelope, and $1, and we will go ahead and forward them the new stickers.
Yes.
Okay, clear.
But not available at the transfer station.
Right, they're not.
Yeah, no monetary transactions, no interactions are taking place at the transfer station at this time. Yeah. Great. As confusing as that may have been, we think we solved something. Email accounts are gonna be set up, they're still in process, as Chuck touched on earlier, for all municipal individuals, at least the Board of Selectmen. I think others will be included in that, right, Chuck?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody, the chair of the ZBA, will be getting email addresses, so that will make things a little cleaner. Let's see, how did we leave this to last, Randy? I'm sorry. Old Town Road Fire Department. Laverne. Would you please bring us up to speed on what your thoughts are on that whole process?
I understand the town is gonna be doing a asbestos inquiry. That is correct. My feeling is it's gonna cost the town a lot of money to remove asbestos, just to get the whole idea. Really would be good to train in. When I told, I haven't been in it, my concern was seeing the person before it was a quarter situation, what is actually in there. That's the first concern. I've been told that it appears to be safe. Like I said, if the asbestos is an issue, but spending a whole bunch of money on just, forget this. We could train in it without burning it by a smoke machine, smoking it, fog machine, whatever you wanna call it. The other concern we burning is those wires close to the house. I know for a fact, we did this down in Bedford, we burnt the house, we melted the phone wires. So it does happen. Situations occur that you think of. That's just my opinion. I'd like to see what the report is on the asbestos, but even if we did burn the thing down, and offer it to surrounding towns, we can't do it till after this corona thing is all done. If you're gonna be having more than 10 people, and it's not an emergency, it's a train.
Couple things there. I think that a lot of the debris, I haven't been inside, but a lot of the debris hoarding situation was cleaned out. We brought in a dumpster, quite a bit was removed. I know when you and I talked probably more than a year ago about this, and the wires were a concern, and
I know that, you've got a member of your, department who's pretty, wants to really do this and is in contact with somebody that kind of, orchestrates these things, that oversees or does these trainings. The liability wouldn't be with that person, though. The liability would be us, the town, if we did damage to those wires, which are very close. And I believe Mr. Fuller had some concerns on was it a brook, Chuck, that you?
Yeah. Runs right near, within like 15 or 20 feet of the building. So anything, and it's all downhill from the backside of the building, right into that brook. There's also an oil tank in it, so that part of what we negotiated with the demo team, was basically they're pumping the oil tank and removing the oil tank. So even if we were looking at doing something besides the asbestos, and there is asbestos in this building, I just don't know how much at this point. That was what I was told by the company doing it. They've been out a couple of times to do something. They couldn't finish the report because of the amount of snow on the roof. They couldn't test the amount of shingles they needed to. But they said there is definitely asbestos in the building. So whatever that means, I haven't seen the report.
Right.
But we'd have to deal with that. We'd also have to deal with pumping the oil tank and removing the oil tank out.
And I think part of this gets into whether the demo company wants to do this part and parcel and be there early, before and then after, and cleaning up a fire scene. So we don't know that. That might be problematic. And there's some vegetation, as I recall, around the property that might be another problematic. I'm thinking, just me, I'm thinking this might not be the best location for a live burn. And we probably should get this building removed. I would say, personally, I'd be in favor if you wanted to review that building as to do a fire training with, would you say, a smoke machine? Yeah. That, if you could orchestrate that in a short amount of time, but then you have your COVID concerns about getting people together, so, I don't know. Chuck, Tom?
Randy, what do you think? You think she burned it, don't you? I don't know anything about burning of buildings or not. Do you feel it's a good thing or not?
That's a good training aspect. You can train, like I said, without burning it.
Well, the burning, you think that's,
Like I said, it depends on the asbestos. If it's gonna cost too much to remove it, no. Why not, why put the town through that expense? There'll be other buildings down the road eventually.
What about contamination to the brook and the potential melting of the wires?
Well, I wasn't aware that brook until Chuck just mentioned it.
Brian, Ms. Burke?
Two things. One is you're gonna have to remove the asbestos before Danley will take it down. That was in the contract you signed with Danley. So the asbestos is gonna have to come out no matter which way you go. That's one thing that I just wanna make as a point. Second thing is you do have a contract with Danley Demolition that you have paid half the contract cost to them. That was a requirement of signing the contract. So if we burn the building, that changes the contract, and you're gonna have to renegotiate with Danley because they have more trouble getting rid of burnt stuff than they have getting rid of unburned stuff. Because having used Danley myself to remove a building on a property I've purchased, they take it to I'm gonna call it a separator yard, and they get money for the stuff that can be reused or redeveloped or whatever out of that, metals and all that. That's why your contract says the day you turn the property over to them, everything there belongs to Danley. Because they negotiated their contract based on what they would get in the recovery process also. The recovery process changes when it's burnt material.
Okay.
So I just wanna let everybody know that doesn't have a smoke machine, I doubt creates any problem whatsoever. But regardless of what you do, the contract you sign says that you've gotta get the asbestos removed before Danley will take the building down.
Okay. So it seems to me that we need to get that report first and foremost. But I'm really kind of looking at this personally, that I'm having less and less enthusiasm about a burn. I don't know. Do you want to wait to have that discussion, or do you want to? Anybody want to make a decision?
This is Chuck. I wanna see the report first. I wanna know how badly a situation we're dealing with there, with asbestos.
Well,
Because we already know there's an oil tank removal piece, so we'd have to hire somebody to come in and remove and pump the oil tank, which I understand is a pretty expensive item, because not everybody does that. We did hire Danley to do that, as part of their removal, so, you know, let's check and find out what the asbestos thing is, and then determine what it's gonna cost us.
well, with the asbestos, if Danley's not removing the asbestos,
That's correct.
that's another cost. So even with the asbestos removed, or there's no asbestos, just take that out of it.
Yeah.
What about the burn? Pure and simple, what do you feel, do you have any initial feelings about the burn process?
I want people to go up and see how close that is to the brook before you decide you wanna burn stuff down and have it flow into that brook.
And what about the wires, any considerations there?
I think the
Vegetation?
brook is a bigger concern than the wires. I think Randy is right, the wires are only 15, 20, maybe 18 feet from the building. But I think there's a way to manage that from what these guys do for work to keep the flames from coming that way. The concern I have is everything toward the brook, and there are some trees that are fairly close to the, secondary building that's there. I mean, they're right over the top of the building. So,
Tom, you have any thoughts?
it would be worth going down to take a look at it, so you get an idea
Yeah.
of what's going on with it.
Yeah, I drove by it, I saw the wires really close, but I also saw in an email that was sent to us from like Lee, that they have coverings, protective coverings on it. That being said, that they can put protective covers on the wire. That being said, once again, like Chuck says, the brook also, you brought it up. And Brian, there's so many what ifs for me, I mean, I would just move on.
Okay.
Without the burn, you know, tear it down, stay the route we had. Maybe the next one that comes up might be a better situation for all the fire department to burn. But yeah, I think we just stay the course and have it demoed and done with it.
I'm inclined to agree. I'll let this one stand until next week to make a hard and fast decision so that everybody has plenty of time to reflect on all the particulars involved in this. And if there's any other questions you want explained, or the coverings of wires, how great is that? Does it always work? Whatever you have. And I certainly think that Brian brings up a good point about changing the contract with burn materials. That was a concern of mine, so, I'm not feeling good about this, but, let's give it another week so that everybody can be comfortable with the decision. And report or no report, I think we might need to make that decision next week. Hopefully we have a report.
I suggest talking to Danny, see what his schedule was, would he plan on doing anything with it?
Yeah, we probably should find out, when he's available. I thought we were probably waiting on that, report, because that would, because that'll determine on, you know, getting somebody else in to do another step. So we're a little ahead of ourselves in trying to schedule, Mr. Daniel. Okay, that's pretty much it, unless anybody has any other input.
Yes, I have something.
Christine?
Christine Holbrook.
AKA.
The other day, the prison called the sign shop, and they wanted to know if we are still interested in the aluminum frost heat sign.
No.
Okay, go ahead and cancel that. Okay, it was on hold.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anything from the fire department again? Randy?
Yes, the fire department's been going out doing welfare checks. We started like 2 weeks ago, this will be week number 3. We got a list from the town clerk and town office, who they thought needed. So we went out and checked it out, and the majority of the people have relatives, somebody checking up on them. They all seem to do well. We have the list on of 3 people that we are gonna go out weekly to, you know, keep checking on them, so either this thing straightens out or they get help in there. So if anybody knows of anybody else we haven't checked on who thinks they need help, let us know. And we don't know everybody.
That's a good point. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up earlier, and yes, you've been talking to me about welfare checks that you and other members of the department have been doing in the community, and that's a great point. So if anybody does know that there's folks out there that could use
the department checking in on them periodically. Please get that information to,
We have
Chief.
done grocery shopping for an individual, we put up a handrail, they installed a sump pump. This is stuff we'll do, because current situation, the, population doesn't wanna go out in public, and I understand it. We're more than willing to help out.
That's great.
Sure.
Very good. Ian, anything from the police department?
Not really, I mean, we've been noticing an uptick in, calls for service of the department for, I guess what we can attribute to people being cooped up together a little bit too long.
Uh-huh.
So our reps have just over the last 2 weeks are significantly higher than normal.
That's unfortunate.
It is rather unfortunate, but it's something that we can expect at this point, so. Also, if people suspect, child abuse, they can get ahold of DCYF. I know DCYF has some concerns that with the children not being in school, stuff that would normally be reported by teachers and nursing staff is going underreported. So people, relatives and stuff like that, they still have some concerns. DCYF is still handling those calls. So we do know that there's kids out there that may be in an abusive situation that is just not being noticed at this point because they're not being exposed to the public or the public eye. So if anybody has any concerns, they can reach out to us at the department, or they can reach out to DCYF. And also, just another thing, if anybody needs to get a hold of the police department, they can call the phone number and it gets the dispatcher at Carroll County 24 hours a day. It doesn't go to the voicemail here, they'll always talk to somebody. We did have a resident the other day that had attempted to call 911 for a non-emergency matter, because his impression, and it's no fault of his, it's just things that happened in the past was that was how he gets a hold of somebody during non-banker's hours, or a police officer. So, and in the process of doing that, 911 had been inundated, so he got a message that said, please stay on the line.
Oh, wow.
I'll be with you shortly. So, while not getting an actual live person at 911 is very rare, it is starting to become a little bit more commonplace just because the amount of calls that the New Hampshire 911 Center is taking in.
And I don't have my phone with me now, and I can almost remember exactly what the number is for the Effingham PD, but I don't want to say the wrong number. So would you?
Make me do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
5380?
Yeah, let me just double check if it's built in my info.
2284, they can call.
2284
Yeah, 2284
Sheriff's
will go-
Department.
2284 will go immediately to the sheriff. That's the sheriff's dispatch, their number. Which what helps out the dispatcher is we actually have a specific line, which is the 539-5380. That rings in dispatch, showing up as coming from Effingham.
Right.
So it helps them to triage the call even before they pick up.
So 539-5380 is the Effingham PD. It goes to the dispatch, but it shows up as an Effingham call.
Right, and people will remember that that's always been our phone number, but it's always, previously to August, it had gone to our answering machine here. Right. Obviously, if there's nobody in the office, you leave a message. What we did in August was I forwarded that line to dispatch, so it always goes to dispatch, whether somebody's in the office or not. That way you can always get information to somebody as quick as possible.
Much better system, I may say. As then dispatch then can contact you folks on your personal devices or over the radios in the cars. And
Exactly, or if we're not in the office, they can, if it is an emergency or something needs to be handled now, they can have a trooper or a deputy handle it, or they can take a message and we get the messages just the same. It's just not sitting in a queue on an answering machine that may or may not get checked.
okay. And we did notice in a review of the budget that your fuel bill is being spent, and the amount of hours that our cruisers are now on the road are significantly increased with that new computer system and all. So that's really great.
Yeah, it's reduced the amount of times that the officers have to come back to the station here to get information or deal with dispatch to get it, so it puts them out on the road a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot more, but maybe it's just a little bit more.
I would, I'd like a year's worth of statistics to look at to give it a solid, I mean, back before the fall, we were seeing like a 33% increase, 36% increase in coverage on the road instead of being here at the station. If we can maintain that through the year and improve on that, I would be more than satisfied, so.
Yeah.
Especially with the fuel price coming down, that could equate to more time on the road, so.
Great, thank you. Does anybody else have anything, Randy Burbank, Fire Chief?
Thursday, the generator company that come out through their seasonal service, I mean, a minor tune-up, so they don't have to get in any buildings, shut off anything, electrical generator. If you do this one, school and fire station.
Now, how often, and I mean, I don't wanna set the schedule for the school, but how often, are we cycling? It was daily, which seemed excessive before on these generators.
Weekly.
Weekly?
Yeah. This place used to be twice a week, because the individual who had service before claimed we had bad propane. In actuality, it was a frozen battery which exploded. So we've now down to 1 day a week here, and it's like from 5 to 6 at night or something.
Something like, I think it's on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Is there any chance of changing that day to Sunday
For what?
for the cycle?
Why?
The interruption.
Because at 5 o'clock at night, every battery backup in this building goes nuts because the generator is shifting on. If you're in this building, every one of them
Monday.
clicks multiple times.
So what day do you want?
Sunday, nobody's here.
Okay. When the guy comes Thursday, I'll ask him to change it.
Okay?
And then I guess, is weekly what we should be doing, or?
Yes.
Yep, okay,
Every other place is weekly.
okay. Just wanted to know, didn't know if it'd be monthly, bi-weekly, weekly. Weekly it is.
I'll ask the guy what he thinks, because one of the fire stations do bi-weekly.
Okay,
14 days to kick them off. It's all programmed.
all right. Ian?
I know we had, briefly discussed in a work session at one point in time, cutting in a new road off of Thurston Road. Is there any status on that, or?
I was writing that down as we were talking with you in the room. I'll call Ron today to see, and it's actually gonna go through our yard, not from.
Oh, okay, all right.
But to take that mound out so you guys can get in there. So I will call him after the meeting.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Absolutely, you got it. Anything else, Deanna? Anything from your end? It's good, okay. Good. Glenn?
No.
No? Okay. Gotcha.
Are you having a short work session after this meeting?
Yeah, we'll just touch on, the budget items and, because you had some corrections, and I think Mr. Strauss probably communicated anything that he found. So if we have any updates to the budget, that'd be nice to whittle it down to those 1 or 2 things on there that need to be corrected. That'd be in a good place. And, I don't know if there was anything else on the work session, possibly. So, anything else, gentlemen? Chuck, Tom? All right, well, let's adjourn the regular session meeting, take a 5 or 10 minute break, and we'll go into a work session. All right, I so make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fuller. All in favor? Tom Hart, aye.
Mr. Fuller, aye.
Mike Cahalan, aye. Thank you all.
I'm just gonna leave this running for the break, because I'll have to dial in again if I don't.
Sure.
Other way.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, I have that info from Matt, there are some caveats to it.
Oh, okay.
Basically, if in some instances there was a tax collector deed, and I don't think any of these owner unknowns, I don't think this applies to them. Because what happened is, we found a tax collector deed for a property, but we weren't able to find any documentation that the property owner had been noticed about tree taking.
Yeah.
So that's one caveat to look at. And the other is, if it's just owner unknown and there's never been a deed associated, that's what you have to do for advertising thing. Even though Matt said, chances of someone coming forward at this point is nil, but I'll put something together, because I'll sift through it. I mean, I have everything right here.
Okay, yeah.
If you want me to photocopy for you, I can.
Well,
Originals?
I think you know what to look for, so
Yeah.
if you want to just give us the highlights, that'd be
Sure.
fine, and provide us the copies, for us. And then, well,
Because there's a couple different things he goes over, and it's lawyer talk.
well, that's where I figure you and Deanna could probably cut through some of this stuff, as it relates to the unknown properties. And then if you've got questions for Matt as to, does this apply, and maybe we get a little history on those properties.
We took a conservative route with some of them and being careful to make sure we advertised, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we just didn't want to, even though he goes on to say, we have to be, I'll piece it together and put it in.
Yeah, because if it applies to any of those properties.
Yeah, that's what I have to really look at.
Yeah, the history of those properties.
Right.
Apply it to that, and
Right.
then if we still have more questions for Matt outside of the advertising.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
put it to him and
make
get
sure,
a final.
because it'd really be nice to get those off the books.
Right.
Even just if there's a bunch of them that go to conservation, because some of them are pieced together right along with other
That's
conservation,
it.
and they're
Yeah.
landlocked. Let's get them to those folks to take care of and manage.
Exactly. Yeah, the black gum.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point in us,
It's all underwater anyway, so what we could
Yeah.
do with
let's
it.
get them off the books.
Right.
Great, thanks, Gwen. Chrissy? How's Tom?
Oh, good, he's back to work, everything's fine, and then his other guy that got sent home for being sick, he's coming back tomorrow. So it looks like things are getting back to normal. But this is all without testing.
I know.
It's just so stupid.
What a joke our fearless leader tells us all the tests will be beautiful, and that we got the best test, and then anybody who wants to be tested can be tested. Nobody's getting tested. Very few people, it seems.
No, and I'm a witness to that, and it's very scary when your husband is walked to that chair like this, and he wasn't good enough for a test.
Yeah,
It was very discouraging.
it's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
But, yeah, so we can only assume he had it. I never had anything unless I'm one of those hypoimmune types that,
Spreading the wealth.
yeah, so it was good that I wasn't here. This too shall pass.
I sure as hell hope so. I need to let kids go back to school. They're driving me crazy.
I know, I'm glad you said something about the child abuse and stuff. I think about all that.
Yeah, I know, we deal with PCWF all the time. I mean, I can understand their concerns, because they get probably calls every day about, and a lot of stuff turns out to be nothing, but they're still not getting those, like,
Yeah, I think so,
Something
when
might
the
be
poor
happening.
kid's stuck with his tormentor 24/7,
Right.
what recourse does this poor kid have?
same thing with the domestic violence stuff, you know, everybody's cooped up with their abuser, and they don't necessarily have the means to reach out.
Thanks, Brian.
Unfortunately, sometimes that results in us going to occur. Some sort of crime occurred, which seems to be the reason.
You're seeing more and more.
We are halfway through our arrest stats from last year in a period of 2 weeks. So,
How much is that,
we are at 11 right now. So,
just in this town?
just an estimate, I mean, to go through that amount of arrests in a 2-week period is pretty.
Same people more than once?
No, they're
Different people?
None of them are repeating.
Wow, that's really scary. Well, if you can do what I told you there, or asked you, that would be wonderful.
I could do that, yeah. It's been a while since I've been out there.
Yeah, she really appreciates it, I'll let her know.
Yeah. No, I think we can slow it while we go.
I can look at that later today,
Yes.
and you have the, PowerPoint you need to take.
Yes. Yeah. I'll email you the power, do you have her email address?
Actually, could be doing all the
No, but I bet he does.
fire
Okay,
alarm.
if we can get her email address, I'll email it.
Well, we get,
She just tells
start
me
getting more
review it, and I'll
information in
put
on the
the-
inspection portion, but the follow-up,
You have
yeah, so.
You got it.
her email address?
Yeah, I forwarded it to you, that's why I sent you that email.
Okay. I got it, I'll send it to you.
It should be right on there.
What are you looking at?
Stop touching.
Where's the other one? It should be right on there.
All right, yeah, just shoot it to me.
Yeah, I have it, you want it?
I'll take it. Good thing you didn't give me that one.
Yeah.
It's on an email.
You know, the point of email is to eliminate the paper part.
Well, that was for my note, to make sure I covered it, and then Brian took it, so I forgot about it.
I can't trust that this email is accurate. You guys could just doctor information.
Brian, do you know, I have a bill here. It was for $499.99, Carbonite backup. Is that the computer system?
Yeah,
Software, yep.
but that bill hasn't been paid yet.
I don't have a receipt for it, that's why I'm asking. I'm doing the
It was
credit
on
card.
it was paid, I believe, on the credit card.
Okay, but I have no backup for it. That's why I'm asking.
Well, we'll deal with that.
Okay, so it's the computer?
It's the cloud.
It's software.
Keeping the peace.
Okay. All righty then. Everybody looks like you're back, sort of.
Okay, can I deal with, Dave Strauss's,
I think he called in, so you might be able to be dealing with him directly, sure.
so he can't talk?
Well, not yet. We could include him if we got Gwen back.
No, he's gonna dial in on the,
He's on.
He does not have,
he needs to have a host code.
he needs the number that allows him to talk.
I got you. Sorry.
One of the reasons that,
Davey's making that up.
which is one of the reasons I said that we want to be careful who we give information numbers, because if you give that to all the planning board people,
Right,
and they give out the wrong number, you'll have everybody
right,
down in on the wrong number.
right.
Dave didn't make the list?
I'm not on the list yet, so I don't have it.
But anyway, he said, his first one, that he wants corrected, he said 4191. Said the planning board at 4991, zoning board under computer services, you have $1 each, and we budgeted 0 for the line items.
Yeah, I thought we took care of that before, right? Didn't we? Isn't Isn't that one that we,
Well, there was some that you said if we left it $1, and there were others that you said we got rid of the $1. If you want me to get rid of that dollar, that's fine, I'll take care of it.
you're at 4191, which is historic district or planning board, which one are we under? Because
Both, actually.
this,
So, yeah, this is Chuck. I'm comfortable removing both of those to zero,
well, I've got the,
because we're putting the money into general account anyway.
well, that's what we had said. So let me pull up the 4191, budget sheets that were finalized. Planning board, zoning officer. Okay, it was historic district. Historic district seems to be the first one. They have printing and office supplies has $1 on the budget workshop on the printing and office for historic district commission. So, planning board, they have office equipment at $1. It says BC approved, so that's budget committee approved. Computer services was zeroed. So computer services is still showing up. Office equipment is not listed. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Computer services is gonna be 0.
Right. That's what I've got. Computer services goes to 0. But I've got a budget committee listing here for office equipment and supplies at $1, same as with the, that's according to the budget worksheets that were approved.
The next one he brings up is 4290.
$42.90. Well, let me see, zoning board. Zoning board is computers were zeroed, but
Where are you? What one are you?
4191, zoning board, computers, services, that's zeroed, but office supplies is still listed as 1, as well as professional services, which I'm not seeing professional services under, oh, there it is, okay, yeah. So it's just the computer services that I'm showing
Okay.
that have been removed. Now, you said which one, Brian?
I want you to go to 4290, which is the, and it's the forest fire warden.
Yep.
And he indicates it should be, I've got 3,500, I gotta find it here. I got 3,500 and he says it's only supposed to be 3,000.
Okay, yes. That one. That one. That's interesting, because I have the approved sheet at 4,000. I have, equipment, let me see, let me get it on the,
I'm sorry, he's, equipment purchase and repair. I got 3,500 and he said it should only be 3,000.
okay, that's correct, 3,000, equipment purchase and repair, the 3,000, and the total, total budget is 4,000. So, equipment and repair, okay.
Okay, that's taken care of. White Mountain Community Health, 4415.
Yes, we had some, in the nonprofits, right?
I showed it 1885, and he said it was budgeted at 1,000.
Okay, we're, what's the nonprofits listing? 4415? Right, I got you there.
Last item on the call.
Okay. Sheets, 4450. Okay. White Mountain Community. There it is. Yeah, I just got it as, in the budget sheet, it's 1,000.
me to list the numbers in each line item of the library, but you can't do that because then it skews the bottom amount.
And I sent him a note on that with the
Okay.
detail.
Okay, those are the only ones he had.
Yeah, we did most of the corrections on the nonprofits prior, I think. I think we covered all the nonprofits prior, all the other
Yeah.
corrections.
So those are the only ones that, now, as I told Mike a few minutes ago, there was like $4,800, I think, in the old, under elections and registration other, and we couldn't figure it, there's 6,000 and some change. Turns out that's where it was put in town administrative salary.
Oh, interesting.
So I have fixed that, and it is now back where it's supposed to be. I figured out how to fix it. But I cannot get rid of that line that says 4140, elections and registration dash other. So it's gonna be there.
Until we get a visit from the folks that you were working with.
That's right, and there's another one that's similar to that, that's got that, a zero amount in it on the other with the number. I just don't know how to get rid of it.
Yep.
I've tried everything I can.
Well,
Other than
And
that,
then the same thing with the payroll expenses, 4155,
I mean,
the payroll expenses. That was another one you were gonna talk to the QuickBooks person about?
yeah, well, I fixed it myself.
Oh, you did?
I fixed it myself, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Okay, it's
Still showing up on here, that's
showing
why I
up.
Where are you?
4155 payroll expenses. It's a 3-line item.
Oh, that other, I don't know if I fixed that. What is it, what's the number again, Chuck?
4155.
I just missed it completely.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be a 2-line, not a 3-line.
5.
We've got money showing up.
It needs to be, yeah, I know it, I remember the discussion.
Yep.
There it is here. That needs to be up on the FICA and other. I just missed it.
Okay.
I can fix that. The amount's right. It's just-
Yep.
Just got a line that's not there. Now, another thing I wanna talk about in a minute on the budget here, and I'll be quiet. We have some kind of an agreement with Parsonsfield, Maine, where they give us money each year. And it's in 2 amounts, 1,000 and 2,000. One of those 2 amounts is a mutual aid amount of money, because we have mutual aid with the communities here in Carroll County. But we don't have, there's no mechanism to have mutual aid with somebody in Maine. So Parsonsfield gives us $1,000 a year for our mutual aid assistance. And that's apparently been going on since at least 1999. They also give us an amount, and I think that's $1,000. I'm still trying to research this, and so I'm asking if anybody knows the answer to this question, speak up. I believe the 2,000, I'm saying I might have them reversed. It might be the 2,000s for mutual aid and the 1,000s for the other. I can't find the documentation yet. But the other amount of money that they give us is supposed to go into our capital reserve fund for the purchase of a new fire truck.
That's a $1,000.
That's 1,000,
Yeah.
not the 2?
Right.
Okay, then I'm done reverse, but regardless. Looking at the deposits that have been made since 1999, none of that $1,000 has gone into the trust fund for the purchase of a new fire engine, which is a capital trust fund.
Right.
That can only be spent by a vote of the town meeting.
Correct.
So, and I'm telling you, I'm just looking at how QuickBooks shows this.
Right.
I'm about to reach out to the trustees and see if they can help, but it appears that all of that money, all $3,000, and the word appears is the optimum word here. It appears that all $3,000 has gone in to offset the operating budget.
Ah,
Now, I'm saying appears because Christine and I looked yesterday at a little bit of this. We got the $3,000 last year, but I can't see where it ever entered into the books other than a deposit. So, and I can't find where it has ever entered into the books in any place other than as a deposit. Now, in 1999 through 2002, it was listed as other miscellaneous income, the $1,000. And from 1993 and 1994, it was listed as fire protection. It's not even listed in 2005. 2006, it's listed again as fire protection. And then it's not listed again until 2015, where all of it is listed as new equipment. And then from 2015 to this year, it's not listed at all.
okay. I think then, we probably should reach out to Carol Pfister of the Trustees of Trust Funds, because she's done a lot of forensic accounting, with these things, and she may be able to just grab something that either accounts for this, a sheet, or says, hey, you know what, it's not here. In which case, then we would have to probably look at reestablishing all those funds if they never made it into that account, and putting a warrant article together to do it. I mean, it's already, I'm sure all those monies have probably had a warrant article to do that, but as a correction, the trustees might want us to put a warrant article on the books as a correction, stipulating why we're moving the money. But
Now, this came up really because of a bill that was apparently sent to us, and help me with this, Christine, sometime in September.
I believe it's October 3rd.
Okay. October 3rd, we got a bill from an outfit by the name of Firematic, which has equipment. And it was stapled with the deposit of the money from one of the two checks, no, both checks.
$3,000 check from Coffee.
Yeah, they sent us a single $3,000 check, and that was clipped with that $3,000 check. We never paid that amount of money. October was me, so I don't know why we didn't pay it. I can't answer that. Probably was gone by then. Randy just resubmitted that bill because Firematic resubmitted it and said, hey guys, you never paid us this. And I didn't know where to put it because Randy says, don't you take this out of my equipment budget this year. So, for at least, and I told you guys this a couple, 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. For the time being, I put it under the income from Parsonsfield Fire Department, because there's a line item for that income. Now, that line item is probably incorrect. It was just created by the QuickBooks gurus that set it up because it was there, and so they just brought it across. Because it probably should be going into the trustees and trust funds. Because at least I think, you say the 1,000 is for the fire truck.
yeah,
Then the 2,000 ought to be going to the expendable trust.
correct,
For the fire department equipment,
I would assume.
not into anything else. It should go into that expendable trust. It hasn't been since 1999.
Yeah, I don't ever remember seeing that one, and we had that conversation, and I'm not familiar with this. So I guess looking back at that, Carol again might be helpful, and Randy is hoping to be attending next week's meeting, especially.
Randy has no clue. I've been down this road
Okay,
with Randy.
so I was gonna say he's gonna be in the work session.
Other than he does not want that coming out of this year's equipment budget. It may have to come out of the expendable trust this year, I don't know.
I mean,
Fire department equipment.
it would have been going to just our general fund.
It appears it was used to pay bills.
Right.
It was just taken in, put into the cash availability, and spent out.
And it should have been going into a trust fund. And I don't ever remember seeing it on any of the warrant articles going into a trust fund, but I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I think that's, now, I understand Carol's done the forensic, but I'm going to go to Karen because she chairs the trustees, and
Sure.
ask her to go to Carol.
Yep.
Just because I kinda think that's
That's fine,
the
yeah,
way we should do that.
sure. I'm just thinking that Carol's probably the holder of,
Oh,
Carol will be the
one that'll find the information.
Yeah, I just wanna bring you guys up to date, that this is screwed up.
yeah, and another place to look is go back into some of our, past town reports, which you may or may not have done, to see if it shows up on any of the,
Carol will do.
and some of them have been blocked out in the past, so they got encompassed in a group of, warrant article approvals.
Now, I suppose it's always possible that this got put in the right place and it got accounted for incorrectly.
Sure, anything's possible at this point, right? We don't know. So, yeah. We'll follow up, we'll look at the
But I
various
just want
things
you
we have.
I wanted you to be aware that I keep finding these things.
Good. Cleanup is good.
All right.
That's the end of my,
Okay, so now we've addressed everything that Mr. Strauss had put forward about concerns on the budget, most of which we'd already, I think, captured prior anyway. Outside of that forest fire warden, I think we really did already.
$1. There's a $1 I gotta get rid of too.
Yeah, but I think we actually went through those before, and you never got back to that thinking, because I remember having the discussions. So again.
Now, I have, if you look at the end of the budget sheet, and I have put in the amounts for the school district in Carroll County. Those are, Wayne and I tried to put together the best number we could put together until actually DRA puts it out. I just wanna put those in so it looks like when you look at the budget, you're seeing what the actual expenditures are. If you remember last year, Carroll County and the Governor Wentworth Regional School District weren't in the line item, so it looked like we were 200 something overspent at different times of the year, and we really weren't. But I do think that those two numbers that we've come up with, the $2,623,833 for the school district, and the $204,313 for Carroll County are pretty accurate.
Okay. I see we still have library hanging out underneath the,
Yeah, that's we'll just get rid of that. Put it back up in the library.
okay,
Those are zeros all the way across, so.
I think for the most, we've covered what's in there. I'd still like to know, if when you get a chance later, what have you, to shoot us off with the next school payments, with what we'll owe to close out the June calendar year. Okay, if you're that insistent, we'll take it. Oh. Good thing he was a dancer. Fred Astaire moves there. Angle up the wires. Feel like I'm home.
Mike, did you ever get that report back from HEB about, that lady on 153 and the,
Yes, we did.
that's all set? Okay.
Yeah, and, actually, I contacted her directly. I think she was going to contact the office to get a copy of everything. I told her she could, just to put that one to rest, but there was absolutely zero findings of any contaminants, so everything was fine. I called her up and I talked to her about it, so that she knew that it was good.
We have no payment,
If she calls.
we have no payment in April. In May, we have a payment of $247,622. And in June, we have a final payment of $356,036.
356.36?
356.36. In May, it's 247,622. And no payment in April.
Okay. All right. Before any payments go out, we should probably have a discussion on that. So don't send the payment until we can assess what our finances are and see what we may or may not be able to pay at this point. I think we'll probably have to have some discussion around that, unless some tax revenues are coming in. I don't know that Deanna's seen any.
Now, I talked with Deanna, and I'm gonna talk with her again for a second before I say the next thing.
All right.
Don't worry.
We'll be here. Did get the, sub-account on assessing, because there was a big number, so we were just looking at that. And the number that was off was a software portion. So there was $2,355 for the Avatar of software. Other than that, there was just regular, revaluation monthly payments. So that looks to check out. Welcome back.
Earliest that you can have the next bill due is July 1st. It takes 30 days, and it has to be in the hands of the taxpayers 30 days before the due date. So Deanna and I have been talking, we're gonna try probably, now, some of this Gwen has handled it, because, okay, with this, I can't hear. The assessments are probably not going to be ready for this upcoming bill. Because Avatar, because of COVID-19, is not doing any field work, so there's no pickups going on. So the fact that there's no pickups, Deanna and I have talked about trying to get the tax bill to the printer mid-May. You can get them out anytime you want, you just can't make them due before July 1st, and it has to be, so if we got them out at the end of May, due July 1st,
Okay.
that's what we're trying to shoot for. That's not going to give you a real good, warm, fuzzy feeling by the end of June on how much money you're going to get in.
No, the end of June portion is, there's outstanding balances in the town for delinquent taxes as of March 20th of over $600,000. My question was, has any of that, materialized? Is there a portion of that that's come in?
You want to find the answer to that?
I don't need the answer to that today, but that's the thing that we're just gonna need to see what monies are coming in, because.
Well, let's ask Deanna.
Well, I don't need to right now to make a decision. We will be getting.
So just so you know, you're still talking about the tax bill coming out?
Well, we finished kind of that. You and I talked the other day, we were thinking about getting to the print sometime in the middle of May. So they,
Well, we can get them there even sooner. It doesn't matter when they go in the mail. This issue just can't be due before July 1st.
the new question though is about 600,000 plus of outstanding taxes as of March.
Yeah, I was just curious if any of the delinquent taxes have been coming in. And I didn't need that answer today.
Okay, because I have to go forward.
Yeah, no, it's kind of in the whole scheme of what kind of finances, what kind of revenue has come in for us to operate, and where do we need to dedicate those funds, and where are we gonna have to tell someone, we can't make certain payments. So we're gonna have to probably face that
Do you
decision.
know the LNA sold? We got that $20,000 check. LNA.
Oh, yeah?
The road on the right, whatever that building's called, the big
Yep.
red one is sold.
Okay.
So that all got paid off.
Well, this is something, like I said, we can probably touch base on next week or after, because we're not there now, but we will be, and at some point in the next few weeks, we'll probably need to know.
Deanna could probably run a report for us, the work session for next week.
Yeah, you know, next week would
Okay,
be,
email it to you?
sure, either email it or even drop it in our boxes so it's here when we come in, whatever works.
And we'll just deal with, we'll
So
review it in our
I'll
work
make it
session.
Monday.
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, absolutely.
That'll work.
Okay, I'll make a note.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
You're welcome.
So, I didn't have anything that I really wanted to get into today because I just figured there's issues down at the transfer station to look at. I've got to get, some documents from Brian to send out, those grants, USDA grant packages. But I didn't know, was there anything anybody else needed to cover?
No, my to-do list is long enough.
Isn't it though?
I would like to look in, we order a fair amount of stuff from Amazon.
Yep.
And one of the things we do is, quite often, we put it on someone's personal credit card.
Sure.
I would like to see about getting a business account with Amazon
Okay.
and look into that and see if it, I think it's much more effective than
Yeah,
what we're doing now.
that's perfect.
Because Chuck and I both have Amazon Prime, Tom probably does too, and
Why do
the other
you,
folks
so?
here have.
And you can set up Amazon Smile for the Effingham Preservation Society.
Do what?
Amazon Smile for that account.
The old,
Sure.
Effingham Preservation Society.
oh, okay.
He used to go door to door selling vacuums before this whole COVID thing. Now he's selling smiles on Amazon.
Anybody that uses Amazon should be putting the Amazon Smile, Effingham Preservation Society.
There's probably a fee to it,
Yeah.
but it also gives us Prime when Prime comes back to life again, which means you get the 2-day delivery on stuff.
Supposedly, but yeah.
It's like $109 a year or something.
Yeah, some $100.
Business,
119.
how much?
119.
Well, is that the business account?
No,
Yeah, so I don't know if the business account is more or less. I wanna look into it though, because I notice we keep buying stuff from them and, I would much rather see if we get a better deal with a business account and not have to put it on the town credit card, which also might cost more money and doesn't give us the Prime. So I just wanna be able to look into
I
it.
think when it's under Prime, often I get like 5% off or something, and, well, points. So there's some benefits, but especially if we do enough business. For me, my account, it pays for itself in the course of a year because I order so much stuff.
Mine too.
Well, we've all got the general concept then, so sure, yeah, look into it and,
Because it appears that we're doing either Mason, which is a state bid, or Amazon for most of our stuff. We're not going out elsewhere. And I've kind of forced that because those are the two best prices.
okay.
If Quill we used to use when Claudia was here, but they aren't matching anywhere near, the prices we're getting from Mason. I mean, we bought 10 cases of paper for a third the cost of what it would have cost us to go out to Quill.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What is the cost of a thing of paper? Because I go through a lot of that. I gotta go off the job lots and get
I think we got 10 cases
It was
for
about
$270. I think it was $27 a case.
It was even cheaper than that. It was about $12 a case. In Quill, we usually pay 32 to 48.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was 12, we got 20 cases.
What comes in a case? How many?
10 reams.
Really? Okay.
It was amazing. It was recycled paper, that's too, why it was so cheap, but
it's on Amazon too. I buy mine on Amazon now, because it's cheaper buying it that. I've searched a few places, and I can't get the government rate that these guys get.
We can't do what?
We can't get the government rate as individuals that you get with Mason,
Yes, that's correct.
so.
Because that's state bid. That's state bid. Now, it's a little bit of a little work to get that set up and figure out what's on the bid and what isn't on the bid, but once we get it set up, it works pretty easy, and costs are just unreal how cheap it is off the bid.
Good, good. Yeah, I'm probably gonna, grab a stack of papers I'm about out, because I've printed my life away on this stuff, that, you know, the DES stuff and this stuff, it's just, I print stuff all the time for the town. And I'm just out of paper, and I don't wanna drive to job lots just to get a $5 package of paper.
Well, I was going to take a ream of paper and replace it when the case I ordered came into my house, because I'm kinda running out.
Yeah.
But I was gonna replace the ream, I thought.
And I could donate my ream, or reams.
Oh, reams, yeah.
Put $5 in the till.
So the last thing here, I guess then, that I wanna cover personally is the crack sealing. We were looking originally at, Green Mountain Road, where it's cracking, if we're going to cover it or protect it as best we can, and Townhouse Road. Those are the two roads that I think we can get done, and potentially we could do more area. And the guy goes through about a half a pallet to maybe up to a pallet in a day, depending when they come in. So, do you guys want to sign this agreement to have them come out?
So we doing one pallet?
Well, we budgeted for 3 this year, and we can use up to, you know, that amount. It has the type of materials, temperature,
Yeah, I'm good with the description.
okay, so, the guy wants to have the agreement, and we're not locked into any amount here, so, for pallets, but I don't see a problem signing it unless anybody else had any issue.
Is that right now for one pallet? Is that the way I read it?
Yeah, the 55 for 2,000 pounds, yeah, 5,500, which is what we had for a price in the last 2 years, and it was cheaper than what we were getting prior. It was $500 more prior.
Probably wants to order it, that's why he's looking for it.
Probably,
The more
trying to line up his.
Yeah, he'll get a bigger discount the more he's got.
So, I'll sign this and get it off to him, if you're all good with that, that's fine. Tom?
You leave a copy to the office for the file, please.
I'll leave this with you. And, I don't know. Nobody else has anything else. Brian, do you have any? Christine, anything you need clarification on today on your minutes or anything?
No, I think I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm posting a work session to April 21st.
Yeah, well, it's to follow our meetings now. We're gonna meet at 9, and we're gonna be open-ended to have a work session after the meetings.
After.
Yeah, just follow right in, so. All right, I guess that's it.
Motion to adjourn, Fuller.
Second. Who seconded?
I did.
Who seconded? Tom Hart second? Okay, all right, roll call vote, all in favor, Cahalan, aye. Aye.
Jeff Fuller, aye.
All right, that's it. Figure we still got people there.
It's a wrap on the 26th.